lose sleep at night? Grab your pillow tight. Do you struggle to find why Han and Luke had to die? Are you just a mess? Does Hollywood leave you stressed? Because their sequels are more important than fan requests. Hold on to your chair, cause talking poop takes you there. You might have to change into some new underwear. Talking poop.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Talking Poop Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the movies, music, and media that we all know and love. I'm here today with my very special co-host, Bryan. The Machine Gun.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to be back.
We're here today in our brand new studio space. How does it feel, Bryan?
Feels like it's 10 feet away from the old studio space.
Look, I hung up some accoutrements.
Yes, I do like the decorations in here.
And we're away from the children. Although you can probably still hear them playing in the background.
I did think it was ironic that you hung up like a lot of your boxed action figures.
Yeah.
So you're hanging them up in your kids' playroom, showing them what they can't play with. Like, look at all these cool toys Dad has that you can't touch.
I'm hoping that it's a special little torture.
I would say, like, as a kid, for me, like, that would be a torture. I was the kid that, like, went to my dad's desk and he had this collector's Harley Davidson motorcycle on his desk, and I was just like, oh, that's mine. Like, I can play with that, and I took it out and totally trashed it. Like, took it on a dirt road and, like, took it through puddles and shit. And I'm sure your kids just stare at these action figures all day like, fuck, I want to play
Honestly,
with those.
I hope they do.
I want to open those and play with them. And they're just out of their reach.
Yeah.
They're just a little too high.
Just high enough for their little hands.
Yeah. They can see them.
Get to. Yeah.
They can't enjoy them.
Exactly. And that's how the rest of life is going to be. So I want them to be prepared.
Welcome to life.
All right, Bryan, today we're going to be talking about a man that goes across all mediums that we deal with. Definitely. Movies, music, and media. But we're going to be specifically talking about one amazing thing that he did. We're talking about Dave motherfucking Chappelle and the motherfucking Chapelle Show.
And we're only 15 years behind on this.
You from? When you leaving? Nice shirt. Does it come in your size? Do I come to your job and smack the broom out your hand? Something needs to happen with this comedy thing right now. Jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes and spaghetti, 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 8 Mile.
This is something that it was a cultural phenomenon when it came out.
Definitely.
And people were like, who's this new guy, Dave Chappelle? And they didn't realize that they've heard, known, and probably watched Dave Chappelle's comedy many times before and not even known it.
Right. I mean, he was killing it in the stand-up world before his show.
Yeah.
He has these he was already doing HBO specials with these hour-and-a-half long stand-up specials, which will make you roll on the floor laugh before his show.
Yeah. He was doing stand-up for years and years and years before he did Chapelle Show. He was also doing a ton of movies before Chapelle Show.
Half-Baked.
People don't even realize, like, Half-Baked, I think, was probably, like, the one that he's most known for.
Right, because he's actually in that one. He didn't just help write it.
Right, but people forget that he was in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes, Achoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People forget that was Dave Chappelle. People forget that in The Nutty Professor, he was the stand-up comedian that was making fun of the Nutty Professor.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
I forgot that. Okay.
Yeah, that was Chappelle.
I gotta go back and watch that, because I do love those old Eddie Murphy movies.
He's been in there, and then he's also, he's been around doing the writing and doing comedy for people.
Yeah, he's been doing the writing behind scenes for a long time.
Yeah.
Before his show. And then he was one of the writers for his show, which I think made it extra special. You could tell it wasn't just like a team of Comedy Central writers. Like, it was obviously Dave's idea and Dave's skits. And obviously, when we went back and we were watching season 1, what really stood out to me was he was trying to get fired that first season. Those first couple episodes, he just kept coming back on stage going, well, fuck, man, we're still here.
Yeah.
I don't know how we made it. And like, his very first episode is the blind black white supremacist.
Yeah.
The black guy
right off
in
the
the
bat,
KKK
one of the
outfit.
most
Right
racist
there,
skits.
trying to get fired. First episode.
Yeah.
Everybody have a lot of things to discuss, mainly niggers. America's at war with Al-Qaeda, but we're still losing the war against Al Sharpton.
The Asian community was a target as well.
Let's talk about Chinese people with their kung fu and all that silly chang chang chong talk. I can't understand you. Go back to your country, white power. Don't let the liberal media tell you how to think and feel. If you have hate in your heart, let it out. If you don't like Will and Grace, that don't mean there's something wrong with you. It means there's something wrong with Will. He's homosexual.
I think that is what people respond to. And so many people in media, especially right now, are so fucking afraid that they're going to say or do the wrong thing. And we've seen it. It's killed like big
definitely
people, you know, like things that they've said people have gotten fucking fired for, you know? I'd
say like our world is a little more sensitive than it was. I think he was doing this stuff in like 2004, 2005. But this was also right after 9/11. This was right when the Iraq War was starting. People were sensitive. It was almost like if you weren't in line, you know, with like the generic American ideals, it was like you were a traitor. You weren't patriotic. You hated the troops.
Right.
Okay. You hated the troops if you didn't fall in line. And he was just like, well, we're not necessarily going to be like making fun of any one group in particular, but we're also not going to stay within the lines that we're supposed to stay in.
Well, I think you nailed it right there. I think that the reason why his comedy was like so accepted and the Chapelle Show got away with what it did was because he was making fun of everybody and going hard at everybody.
Right.
You know,
just like, you know, another Comedy Central staple, South Park.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we're just going to spread it across everyone. Everyone's going to catch it. So be ready for it.
But strangely, I think that that's what appeals to so many people is the idea of like, just fuck this. Like people get sick of like everything being so sterile. And there's a lot. I think the majority of people are silent because they're being forced to or they feel forced to.
Right.
And so that creates this like energy, this bubbling of energy underneath. And then somebody like Dave Chappelle comes out and it's just like, I don't give a fuck about racism. Like, although it's not that he didn't give a fuck about racism. Like he's calling out racism.
Right.
You know, and
he's calling out racism with the weapon that he has, which is comedy.
Exactly.
And he's calling out social injustice with the weapon he has, which is comedy, which will make you laugh the first time you watch it. But if you rewatch him, you're like, man, motherfucker's got a point.
Right.
You know, and it makes you look into these things.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like right off the bat with if you haven't seen it, you know, if you haven't seen Chapelle Show, go watch some Chapelle Show for sure.
It's only been out for
it's been out for like
years at this point.
It's been out for a while, but you can like YouTube each one of the clips. You don't even have to like get the whole show.
True.
Just like watch some of his more famous clips. But the one that we're talking about is from the very first episode, and it's
like a Dateline or like a 2020 report.
Yeah, exactly. On like the Ku Klux Klan. And Dave Chappelle, it plays like this head of the Ku Klux Klan who is black, but he's blind. And so he doesn't know that he's black. He
went to boarding school as a kid and they were just like, well, we'd never had a black kid here before, so we just thought it'd be easier if we told him and all the other kids he was white. And he becomes like Grand Wizard Dragon of the KKK.
It's so classic in that skit too. And the thing that I think, but even back then, like the N-word was like off limits.
Right.
And he just uses it like profusely and
every single skit.
Yeah.
That's, if you notice, Jason and I are not quoting the skits.
No.
All of the good lines would get us off the air.
Exactly. This episode is going to be the non-N-word episode. But I will
just like every other episode.
But I will be cutting in Dave Chappelle skits. So this will have the most N-words on our show ever.
We're just not going to say
But it's not going to come from us.
Funny how we're just talking about people being so scared, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but, you know, you can say like, oh, a bunch of snowflakes nowadays and don't want to talk about racism or homosexuality or transgender. It's like, well, white people are never allowed to use the N-word. Like, I don't care what you were doing or what was going on back in like, you know, even if it was the 90s or the 80s, like, still didn't fly.
Yeah, no, it's not okay.
This isn't anything new.
It's the one thing that's just not okay.
Right.
Like, you can't ever say that word. And we pretty much, like, invented the word and then therefore lost the privilege to use it.
Yeah. And, I always like the way, I think it's Louis C.K. puts it. It's just like, what do you call white people? You know? It's like, oh, cracker. It's like, oh, taking me back to when we owned land and people. Like, I'm really hurt by that, you know? There's just no equivalent for us, so it's like, you just gotta respect that, not you.
Yeah, we don't have a word that is as hurtful to us that you can even say. Like, if you're like a redneck, cracker, it just doesn't hurt us the way.
What's really awkward is teaching history to a bunch of 7th graders and showing documentaries with that word in it.
Right.
And they're just, I mean, these are kids from like a white suburban neighborhood that have just never been exposed to this before. And you can see them like looking around the room like, oh shit, did we just hear that? Like, are we allowed to hear that? Are we allowed to say that now? And just like putting the kibosh on that right away.
There's only one white guy that is allowed and for some reason is like prompted to say that word.
Oh,
and that's
I want to guess before you say it.
Okay.
I believe it's Quentin Tarantino.
The Quentin Tarantino is somehow like grandfathered in to saying that word.
You know, he went on a rant on an airplane when they were like, he was getting kicked off an airplane or he was getting on an airplane, and he went on this rant about how he was allowed to say it. And like, he'd been given permission to say it. It was like, do you know who I am? I'm fucking Quentin Tarantino and I'm allowed to say the N-word.
Seriously.
Like, what does that have to do with you getting on the airplane?
But I think that like, if there's one person that can give you the ability to say it, it's Sir Samuel L. Jackson.
It is Sir Samuel L. Jackson.
So like Samuel L. Jackson told Tarantino it's okay that you say that. And I think that he's like, it kind of went to his head.
Maybe Samuel L. Jackson meant like, yeah, write it in the scene.
Yeah, like
it's okay that you write it in your scripts, and Tarantino just ran with it.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to put it in all of my scripts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it in my everyday life.
And he just kept pushing it, and then like finally just culminated with Django. Just like, here we go. Django. Just a movie about slaves, and we're going to see how many times we can say it in this.
Exactly.
I heard, one of my favorite anecdotes from that movie is I heard Leonardo DiCaprio was very uncomfortable with doing some of the stuff as the plantation owner. And Samuel L. Jackson had to like kind of come up to him and be like, hey, we're actors, man. This is just another Tuesday. Say the lines. You're all good.
But then again, it's Samuel L. Jackson. Give him permission.
Exactly. You had to get permission from him.
The only person that you can get permission from to say that word is Samuel L. Jackson. But I feel like Samuel L. Jackson probably needs to go to Tarantino and be like, it's not okay anymore.
Hey, pull it back a little bit, buddy.
Like, I gave it to you and you celebrated it.
You overused it.
Yeah, you said it to death, and we need to take it back now. It's not okay anymore to say it. For you. We got to pass the baton to someone else that's allowed to say it now.
Right.
Yeah. So where were we? We just went off on a...
Well, we were talking about the first episode of the Chapelle Show.
Oh, yeah, the very first episode. So he's at this big Klan rally and everything, and he's like, they're like, show us your face. He's like, you want to see my face?
Pulls off his hood, and literally a guy's head explodes. And he just sets the tone for the whole Chapelle Show. You're like, man, this is going to be hilarious and outrageous, and I love it.
Exactly. And my favorite thing is they had that dude that's like the Bryan Gunn, like saying the...
Yes.
Like doing the Dateline thing, and he's like...
Well, the best is the line at the end.
Yeah.
When he says like...
Mr. Bixby was not harmed that night, but irreparable damage has been done to his reputation and in many ways the white power movement. We're told that in the last few weeks he has accepted the fact that he is a black man. And 3 days ago, he filed for divorce from his wife. When we asked why, after 19 years of marriage, he responded, because she's a nigger lover.
And you know that guy, even like you could see his eyebrow twitch a little bit when he said it. He was like, I don't want to say that word.
And I'm fired.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Dave Chappelle like made it like he took a horrible word and he made it seem okay. And he said it on national television without like
on Comedy Central. And this wasn't Adult Swim. This wasn't like late night Comedy Central.
No.
This wasn't a stand-up special that came on at 11 p.m.
No, this was 7 o'clock in the evening.
Prime time. People watching. I mean, I was watching this stuff. I think I was a freshman or sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
I was dying.
Yeah.
You know, it was the first time I heard comedy like that.
But it was one of those things, too, where, like, even my dad was like, what the fuck are you watching, you know? Right. And then he's like, he would sit down and be like, this shit's hilarious.
My brother came home from the army with, like, a DVD of Chapelle Show and was like, you have to watch this.
Yeah, and then that was the thing. It was like, it was in that time when YouTube was starting to become a thing, you know, and people were like, you got to see this skit, you know?
Right.
Like, every episode had, like, the skit that was, like, amazing. Like, it was so fucking funny.
It's funny because when we're going back and we're trying to rewatch some of these old episodes now, and it's like there's a lot of talking.
Yeah,
there's a ton of commercial breaks. They go.
That was the worst. Back, is that after every skit, there's a commercial break.
Yeah, they never go more than 2 skits without one, and then he'll come. Sometimes he'll come back from commercial break and he'll just talk to the audience, and then they'll go to a commercial break, and you're just like, man, I remember watching this on cable and feeling gypped because now I got another 4.5 minutes of fucking commercials.
Exactly.
And his episodes ended up being like 18, 17 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that. But then Jason's right. In every single episode, there is one skit that stands out as that episode skit that will be remembered for it.
Yeah. And I mean, you can watch like Saturday Night Live and like you can go months without like that clip, like the Dick in a Box or whatever, or like
definitely
you know, the Blue Oyster Cult skit, you know, like these skits that become like, oh, you gotta see just this skit, you know.
I do feel like, as you were saying, like YouTube was just getting started. If it were today, if everything, you know, if we had the social media and the more following, Chapelle Show would be viral like nobody's business.
Right.
It would be all over. We'd have millions of views. It'd be getting shared everywhere.
But that's the thing. I think because like it picked up because of word of mouth, you know, it picked up through people showing their coworkers or their friends those crazy clips. I wonder if that's how it slowly built on the culture, and that's how like it was already rolling before anybody could stop it, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas today you'd be able to binge that shit and it would be everywhere, you know, and somebody could like, we can't support their show. We got to put a stop to it.
Of course. And that's another crazy like phenomenon about the Chapelle Show is it's 2 seasons and that's it. That's all you get. Yeah. He went a little crazy when they offered him the 3rd season. I think he was like, "You're asking too much of me." Yeah. They were offering him millions of dollars to come back and do another season, and the stress. I think the creative stress of being expected to produce gold like that for just season after. He could tell Comedy Central just wanted to run this thing as many seasons as they could. Yeah. And he's sitting there going, I want to come up with quality sketches. And if I remember correctly, he left the country. Yeah, he went to Africa. He went to Africa for like 9 months, 10 months or something. He just pieced out.
And he didn't say shit. He just went. But
he walked away from this millions of dollars contract and just...
Yeah, and he disappeared, and everybody was like, oh, fucking, they just made up stories. They're like, oh, Dave Chappelle lost his fucking mind. Yeah. And went. And I mean, that's not that far from what the real truth is that he, he had done season 1 and never thought that there would be a season 2 because he was trying to be. He didn't think he was
really going to finish season 1. Yeah. And you can tell it's genuine surprise on his face when he's coming out for episode 3 and 4 going, fuck, we're still here. He
says it. He's like, well, we haven't been canceled yet. Show, I guess. And then he comes back for season 2, and season 2 was like even bigger, if you can believe it. And it's even better. And almost every skit, there's 2 or 3 of those sketches, you know, on the one. I mean, and then he brings Charlie Murphy into it.
Which is the thing I think that really put season 2 over the top.
It was the Charlie Murphy stories.
Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories, where he's talking about Rick James and Prince.
Oh, yeah. That stuff was so funny. And that was like, I think that was where I first came into it, was I saw the Rick James skit because somebody told me to like look that shit up. Right. And I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. I gotta check this out.
Started kicking it, and he was mad man, which was, right up my alley.
I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time. One of the best singers, one of the best looking motherfuckers you've ever seen. Hold my drink, bitch.
He walk up to any chick, lick the whole side of their face, man.
I'm Rick James, bitch. Enjoy yourself.
And I mean, we got to put ourselves back in time at that point. Like, I wasn't like a rap guy.
I didn't even, when I was such a young kid and I was like so oblivious of culture, I didn't know who Rick James was. I'm sure I'd heard some of his songs, but I didn't know like who he was.
Right, exactly. Like I knew he sang Brick House.
Yeah, and so it was just like, oh, I could tell from the Chappelle skit. I was like, oh, he's some rock star. Right. But I didn't really understand, and it was still fucking hilarious.
But yeah, and I think for me, like I was watching Comedy Central, I was watching South Park and all that shit, and The Daily Show and stuff back then, and I would see trailers and I'd be like, oh, the show looks hilarious, but it seemed like it wasn't for me. Like, and then that might sound racist or stupid, and it probably is both. But it wasn't about racism. It just was like, this looks like a black show, and that's not for me. Like I'm a poser if I watch that show.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not really supposed to. I'm not really allowed to.
Yeah, like if
that feeling.
Exactly, like white kids listen to rap music. Like,
and they turn it down when black people come around.
Exactly. It's exactly that. Yeah. So like, I didn't want to like watch something that like I couldn't like be proud of watching or whatever.
Well, and especially in Flagstaff where we had 3 black families in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
there,
we lived in a very like...
It wasn't exactly like we had anybody to talk to it about or like anybody to like listen to us, you know.
Yeah. But like I remember back in like when I lived in Los Angeles, you know, I lived there till I was 14, and my cousin was like getting into like Snoop Dogg, and like he would like start playing these CDs and stuff like where we were hanging out, and I remember thinking like, oh, he's turning into like a urban kid, like,
because there's always that stereotype, like every high school movie,
right?
You know,
Yeah,
those are the white kids that listen to rap, those stoners.
Yeah.
And it's like, apparently that's what happens to you if you listen to rap according to Hollywood,
right? And I was like, you know, I watched my cousin listening to this stuff and like changing, you know, going in that direction, wearing like his pants all different and stuff. So. Yeah, but so he's wearing like the baggy pants and shit, like size 44, and he's got like a 28-inch waist, you know, and like
the dumbest shit you've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yeah, that's not me at all, you know. Like I was a rock kid, so like that kind of music wasn't for me, you know. But it didn't necessarily mean a race thing. It just was like a different kind of style that I didn't like understand.
I wasn't with that group.
Exactly.
Luckily for me, I wasn't with any cool group. Because my mom was like, I'm picking your clothes, and I'm buying. If I'm spending money on your clothes, I'm buying them, and I'm picking them.
Right.
So I had shorts that were very revealing of my thighs, solidly through middle school, because mom loved that they matched these fucking polo shirts they came with.
Right.
So no cool group, Jeanco jeans, rap group, rock group, whoever was gonna let me in. I was always the kid like, I want to hang out. Please, someone fucking save me.
Yeah, I remember, so I left LA, moved to Flagstaff, and then like came back after a year, and my cousin had like moved like full bore into like, he was a rap kid. And I remember him, like, I walked in and he was like, God damn, bro, why are your jeans so tight? And like, he has no idea. Like now today, the kids wear the fucking tightest jeans.
Goddamn skinny, where you literally have to have someone assist you in getting them on and off.
Yeah. They look like an optical illusion. Like, I've seen kids just squeezed into those jeans.
There's just no way that's fucking comfortable.
But it's so weird that it went from the baggiest ass fucking
pendulum,
shit,
man,
where your fucking ass was hanging out the back, to the tightest fucking pants you could possibly put on.
I'm never going to understand, like, pretend to understand fashion.
No,
I work at a middle school, and I'm still not going to try to keep up on current trends. Like,
no.
I'm terrible. I wear cargo shorts, if that tells you anything.
I choose my shirts based on what touches my body to, like, sop up the sweat the least. Like, if it touches my armpits, that shirt's uncomfortable, and I'm not going to wear it.
Well, like those shirts that have the big logos across the front that stick to your chest.
Oh, exactly,
like poorly made. Yeah, I'm wearing that.
I look at clothes, and if I see a big logo, I'm like, oh, that's a cool shirt, but that's going to be uncomfortable on my chest when I sweat.
It's because we're old. We dress for comfort. We don't dress give for comfort. Shit what people think about us now.
Exactly. Yeah. So Chapelle Show, I wasn't hip to that like when it came on, but then I started seeing the clips and I was like, I gotta check this out. And then when I first watched it, I was like, and again, I'm probably gonna sound like an asshole, but like, I don't like it when you see like gay comedians and that's like all the jokes are about being gay.
Right.
And you're like, I fucking can't relate to this.
Right.
And so like, the same thing with like a black comedian, all his jokes about being black and like growing up in the hood. Like, I can't really relate to that. Like, I wanted to watch Comedy Def Jam on HBO because I'm like a huge comedy fan.
Right.
But like, that shit wasn't my jam. Like, they weren't speaking to me. But then I started watching Chapelle Show and I was like, oh, this dude's bagging on white people. Like, yeah, that's all of it. And then I was like, wait a minute, no. He's bagging on Asians in this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh wait, he's got an Asian wife, so he's allowed to bag on Asians. And then he's bagging on black people, and I'm like, oh shit, this guy's bagging on everybody, which somehow makes it less offensive.
It does, yeah.
And I think that he found that, like, I think he was doing it anyway, but it was that.
He's definitely really good at self-deprecating humor. Like, he doesn't, like, Dave Chappelle will take the most embarrassing roles in his own skits.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
He'll be the guy that like gets fucking embarrassed in his own skit, and he'll take it and he'll do a great job with it.
Exactly.
And I think he just took that and applied it to everything. Like, dude, motherfucker, no one's safe.
Him playing Rick James,
yes,
in that skit with the Charlie Murphy is so fucking funny
because he's so over the top with it. But then you're like, well, it is Rick James high on cocaine, so like maybe
but when he gets kicked and he fucking flies up into that TV and they slow it in slow motion, they just keep showing it. Fuck, dude, I laughed so fucking hard, and I mean, I laughed so fucking hard the first time I saw it, and then we just like watched it again. And I laughed just as fucking hard. It's so funny.
We walking up into the VIP section, and I'm looking around to see who's there, and looking at the girls and everything. And all of a sudden, I heard something go, Charlie Murphy! That was cold-blooded. He had this ring on to commemorate this song he had put out called Unity.
And this was imprinted in that black head of his for at least a week.
I think, and it's funny because he does talk about, I don't know, he doesn't necessarily talk about, but he will bring up current events in his skit, things that were happening at the time.
Right.
But they're still timeless. Like, they're still classic
That's
skits
what's amazing.
that really stand the test of time.
We just watched that skit where he's talking about, he's like in court and he's talking about how like he doesn't ever think that black people are guilty, which is hilarious and true. And they're talking about the OJ case, which is like old news, but then they're talking about Michael Jackson, which like just
Finding
fucking came back with
the
and like that shit was going on way back then.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it.
And then the R. Kelly case.
And the R. Kelly case.
Girls, and he's talking about it back then.
Say rolling around, sitting on doves, can't lie, I was high on shrubs, cooling in my Escalade. Man, I'm paid, I got it made. Take me to your special place. Close your eyes, show me your face. I'm gonna piss on it. Others wanna love, I don't even want none of the above. I want to piss on you. Yes, I do. I'll piss on you. I'll pee on you.
And this the documentaries just came out and people are like, oh my God, like that happened. And you're like, everybody fucking knew it happened. And Dave Chappelle was making fun of it back in the day.
Yeah.
Then there's a skit where he's fucking talking about how he's going to quit his show. And because he's too much stress and he can't, and they even say, well, we wanted you back for a third season. And he's like, oh, you wanted me back. You expect me back for a third season. Well, I'm fucking out. And then he brings Wayne Brady in for an episode. And that was a fucking hilarious episode.
When he made fun of Wayne Brady, because up to that point, all we'd seen from Wayne Brady was like the Whose Line Is It Anyways, like the Wayne Brady Show, where he's like got his nice like ha 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 like entertainer voice on. He's really clean. He's not cussing. He's not doing anything like that. Dave Chappelle brings Wayne Brady on for a skit where he's doing drive-by shootings. He's slapping prostitutes to get their money. Like, he's their
Wayne
pimp.
Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Yeah, Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch? He's fucking breaking the neck of a police officer and shit. He's like making Dave Chappelle smoke PCP and he's like treating him like his little bitch. Like, that shit was hilarious because, you'd never think Wayne Brady would do that shit.
To hear Wayne Brady say, oh, Dave, I didn't know you like getting wet.
When they roll up to that club, that guy's like, oh shit, it's Wayne Brady. And he's just like,
oh shit. But again, like Wayne Brady could have got totally fucking pissed off about him making fun of him, you know, but instead he comes on and does this whole skit or this whole show really, where, he's going totally against his stereotype.
Yeah.
And I think that's what plays to people. Anytime somebody goes against a stereotype, people dig that shit, and it makes you feel it feels all encompassing.
There's
a
right way and a wrong way to like subvert expectations, and Chappelle could do it right.
Exactly, and it made everybody feel like they could watch this show and not that they weren't being made fun of, that they were like a part of it and they were like included in the comedy instead of like when I watch fucking Chris Rock, dude, I just feel like, what a fucking racist asshole,
right.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. You're like, man, he fucking hates white people.
Yeah, he fucking hates white people.
Like, he wouldn't even want me to watch this.
Yeah, and I think I really do. I've heard since then, Dave Chappelle's gone up and done his Netflix stand-up specials and stuff, where he really does talk about his life and how he feels about things.
And I love those stand-up specials for the fact that he's smoking weed the entire time.
The entire time, dude. He's just like
he just doesn't give a fuck.
Getting high, and he's not fucking doing a bit. He's just like talking to the audience. Like, that's his comedy. He's just flat out fucking talking. He's talking about shit he's talking about what he thinks, and that's funny. And, I don't think, like, he definitely has, like, his feelings towards white people, but...
After being a United States history teacher, I don't really blame him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, white people have done some fucked up shit, and, like...
I feel like every day I'm giving a lecture where I'm just like... And then we went back on these promises and crushed this group and took this place and kicked them out and beat them down. Next slide. It's just every day you're just like, man. Today we're talking about oppression. So this is a list of all the people we've oppressed. Wait, there's several pages of it. Yeah. I mean, I show my students an image. It's like, this is an image of the history of black people in our country. And it's like 1619. It's first slaves arrive in America. And then you have slavery until 1865. So it looks like a speedometer. So just imagine like all the way to 1865 slavery. And then from 1865 to 1954, you have legalized segregation. You have Jim Crow laws and things that are legalized. And then it's like from 1954 to modern times is when they've technically been equal citizens. But as I teach my students, it's like, okay, did these bills get signed in 1954? And everyone went, oh shit, we're all equal now. We're all happy and we can all get along. It's like, no, that shit's still going on today.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why I like try to show them, look how long, you know, they were slaves. Look how long they were legally separated from the rest of the society. And like, you just think everything's gonna be hunky-dory now and everyone's on the same footing. Like, it's not true. And it's just not gonna happen like that.
No. And there's a lot of white people out there that are like, man, they should just fucking get over it because like...
That's the household I was raised in. You know?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know,
the household I was raised in was just like, go get a job, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and quit your bitching.
Yeah.
You know, and just buy a house like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, no. And when you look at like how little blip of time that they've actually been considered equal and still not been allowed to be equal.
Yeah.
Nothing's fucking equal, dude. It's not equal for women. It's not equal for anybody but white men.
Yeah. And it's amazing too. Like right after you saw like progressives trying to put laws in place, like Abraham Lincoln, you know, getting the 14th Amendment passed and trying to get everyone to vote, and it's like, and it worked for like a couple years.
Yeah.
And then the same basic like former slaves owner get back in power.
Right.
And they just immediately are like, how can we fuck this group over again?
Right.
And they just take things right back the way they were.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating to like see those ups and downs in
Right.
history. Like, we were making some progress, and then there's this like big downslide.
Yeah.
And you make a little bit of progress and then a big downslide.
Right. Well, and you almost see that with Dave Chappelle. Like, we can bring it back to like what happened with him is that he couldn't handle what had happened. He could not ever like meet anybody's expectations for a third season.
I think that's one of the hardest things about being an artist is you come out with something that's amazing, and the day after it comes out, people are going, so when's the
What's
next
next? Exactly.
And
dude.
you're just trying to like kind of revel and go, look at what I just created.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing. Can I just like bask in it for a little bit? Can I take a break? And people are like, so 6 months, new season, new
Exactly.
book,
Yeah.
new picture, new what? Like, let's go.
Yeah. And that's what they expected from Chappelle. And he was like, you know, fuck all that. You know, I can't do that. And it wasn't that he went crazy. It was that he was like, there's nothing I can fucking do to meet expectations. And he even tried. He did some skits for season 3 and they're out there. You can watch them.
Yeah.
And they're not as funny as season 2.
They're rough draft. Like, he didn't,
Exactly.
I think like he maybe had some ideas kicking around.
Right.
But they're rough draft ideas. And so that, you know, anything that comes out in rough draft form, that's what it's going to look like.
Exactly. And so he was just like, fuck it, I quit, I'm out. And he didn't even want that stuff to be released. Comedy Central did it because they were like, we gotta fucking milk this shit until it's dry. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, he went to, and people are like, well, he went back to his roots. He went back to Africa because he was like, I gotta get my fucking head straight.
I just don't think there's anywhere he could go in America where he was going to be able to escape people talk, you know.
Exactly.
The second sentence out of everyone's mouth after hi, how are you is going to be like, so season 3, what's going on with that? Hey, I heard you went crazy and ran off. Like, what's going on? Exactly. When are you going to come back?
Yeah.
There's nowhere he could have gone in the 50 United States to like escape.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck it. I'm just going to go way far away where people don't know me. People don't know I'm famous. People never seen my show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just chill out for a while. And I've got that money. I've got that fuck you money now.
Yep.
So he could do that. And I'm, you know, it's kind of like hats off to you, dude.
Yeah.
Most people are so greedy. They're so like, it's never enough. Even after they become millionaires, it's got to have more and more and more.
Right.
That they'll sell their souls and they'll make stuff they know is not as good as the original product, but they're okay with it because they're getting paid.
Yeah. He fucking stood up to his shit and he fucking rolled out, and then he came back and he didn't have to talk about it if he didn't want to. He could have just fucking...
It was a long time.
It was a long time. And
he was off the radar.
I have to admit that I was curious. I was like, I'd like to hear his fucking story.
He
like,
was so popular. We were all curious. We all wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah. I understood. And I was like, I'm not expecting like him to come back and be like, surprise, bitch, I'm doing Chapelle Show again. Yeah. You know, like, and he didn't do that. He came back to the States finally, and he kind of started with his roots, started doing stand-up again.
I heard he would just show up at these little clubs all over the place, like pretty much unannounced.
Yeah.
And he would just do a stand-up, and the people would just be like, oh shit, Dave Chappelle's here tonight? And they'd be like, yeah, it's fucking Dave Chappelle, you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly. And his stand-up is so real and so raw, even more so. It doesn't feel jokey at all.
No,
it just feels like
you'll laugh, but it does feel like he's having a conversation.
Yeah, he's having a conversation. He's talking about how he feels about things. And that's what he was always doing with Chappelle Show. He was just doing it through these crazy fucking skits.
Yeah, it was kind of like what was going on in his head.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And now he's doing, like, he's popping. And he said he's done doing stand-up comedy now. He's like, I'm fucking done. This is it. And it's crazy. Like, he just, like, hits the height of what he's doing, and then he just fucking rolls out. And it's so funny. He started off his last comedy special. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna quit comedy because I'm just too good at this shit. Like, that's fucking amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And to not outstay your welcome is something that so many shows and so many, like, people can't
Artists
do.
Don't get, I mean, look at, like, Dan Cook. You know, just like the first comedian that comes to mind who was hot.
Hot.
Big,
everybody loved him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. Those first 2 CDs he came out with, I was laughing my ass off with my friends.
Yeah.
And then just something turned.
It was
just a little bit too much of Dan Cook.
Too much. Yeah, the market got oversaturated with it. And that's what's going to happen with these fucking superhero movies. As much as I love superhero movies, and Endgame just fucking shattered every fucking record in the world.
Amazing.
There's going to be a point where, and it's going to be soon. It's got to be soon. One of them is going to fucking tank hard. They're going to spend a ton of money on it, ton of money promoting it, and it's going to fucking tank. And people are going to be like, oh, it's not a surefire thing every time.
Right.
So, you know, even the fact that, like, Batman vs. Superman, we talk to this fucking all the time about how shitty that was. But even that didn't fucking kill Warner Brothers. They just, like, pop back up and fucking reboot and redo
Disney
it.
just announced 3 new Star Wars movies after Episode 9. Oh. And then they also announced the schedule for the Avatar releases. So every other year it's going to be an Avatar movie. And in between those years, every other year, it's going to be a Star Wars movie. So
that's so fucking dumb, and I think that Solo proved that, like, you can't oversaturate the market, like, because Solo wasn't a horrible movie.
There's standalone films we want to see, but I actually think it's The Last Jedi that is just killed it. Like,
right.
As a true Star Wars fan, fuck you, that sucked.
Right.
And there's just that's what I really think killed it. And now you're having to go back to J.J. Abrams for Episode 9, and apparently George Lucas is involved. I'm gonna say it right now, I hated that fucking trailer.
Did you?
Yeah, I fucking hate it. And you people don't understand. I've waited in line for over a day. I've been in line for almost 30 hours before to see Episode 3.
Yeah.
Like, I love fucking Star Wars.
Right.
And I fucking hated that trailer because it's like, well, no one's ever really gone.
Right.
No one's ever really gone.
Well, and here's
what the fuck? Oh, the Emperor's back.
Right.
You know.
My problem
talk about outstaying your welcome.
My problem is
back all these original shit.
My problem is just like with women, no matter how bad they do me wrong, they tickle my nuts a little bit and I love them again. And that's like, I remember seeing the trailer for fucking Clone Wars, like Episode 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be fucking awesome.
Right.
You know, and Revenge of the Sith. Like, how many times do you have to fucking suck before I'm gonna realize ahead of time that you fucking suck?
Like, I've really come to the realization. It's like, man, there's the original trilogy.
Right.
And then there's everything else. Like,
yeah.
Nothing else even comes close.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. But these new ones, though, I do enjoy them. I'm not a hater of The Last Jedi. It's probably my least favorite Star Wars film.
You probably haven't sat down and watched it with me, so I can point everything out about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I kind of watch it with, like, those nostalgia eyes. And
I'm not gonna lie, when I first walked out of the theater, I was like, okay, I can do that. Like, that can be okay. And it was like the same thing, you know, with Force Awakens. Like, when I first watched it, I'm just so happy to see a new Star Wars film.
Right.
But then when I see it like a second time and I really start to think about it, I'm like, this is wrong.
Well, that was like when I walked out of Endgame. I was like, the greatest movie I've ever seen in my whole life.
Right.
And, you know, it was so exciting.
Right.
But then I started thinking about it later and I was like, do I even want to ever watch that again? Like, I'm really glad I saw it and I loved it while I was watching it. But, like, is the rewatch value even going to be there? Because it was pretty low on action. Like, not really much happened. Like, it was awesome in the beginning and then at the end.
I thought that for Infinity War. I was like, well, that ending was, like, so terrible.
Right.
But I'm never going to watch Infinity War again. And then I've ended up watching it, like, 15 times on Netflix.
And see, yeah, I've watched it on Netflix. Netflix makes things easy, so it almost seems like, well, I don't have to get off my couch to put in the DVD. So I'll just click this button and then I'll watch it for a little while.
Yeah.
And then you wind up watching it all the way through. But that's what happened with Last Jedi, too, is that, like, they put it on Netflix and I just, like, started watching it. We're not going to have that problem pretty soon because Disney is going to fucking take all our shit off Netflix. Netflix is raising their prices, even though they're losing all these Disney movies. It's like, wait a minute. And they're giving us shit like Bird Box, and you're just like, wait a minute.
It's funny, yeah. There isn't a whole bunch on Netflix anymore that I'm like House of Cards and Sherlock was on there.
Right.
Fucking all my favorite shows were on there.
Right.
All the Marvel movies were coming out on there. And now it's like, I'm not really excited for anything on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I don't know how Netflix is going to justify.
Netflix, maybe you need to get the rights to Chapelle Show.
Oh, now we're talking. And bringing it back because we've gone off on a long rant away from Chapelle Show.
I was trying. It does need to be on a streaming service because this is it's too good to just only be out there on the DVD.
Yeah,
market.
we shouldn't let it die. And there were a lot of skits on there that were in between those amazing skits that we all remember and love when we just binged it and watched it again.
Yeah.
There were a lot of skits that I didn't remember. Some of them I hadn't even seen, where I probably went and took a piss or something and then got a soda, and by the time I came back it was halfway over and or not in there, that were really funny.
One of my favorite skits that I had kind of forgotten about was the Mad Real World.
Yeah.
Where he talks about, he's like, in the Real World episodes, which my sister used to watch all the time, be like, there's always a bunch of white people and like one black guy, and they try to make him seem like he's crazy.
Right.
And it's like, so we took a bunch of black people, we put one white guy in with him, and everything just ends up going to fucking nuts, and they fuck his girlfriend. That dude shows up from prison, they like tag team his girlfriend, they fucking like stab his dad, they fucking butt rape Chad. It's just like, that was the shit that was like early on in the first season where you're like, did that dude just get stabbed on fucking Chapelle Show? Like that dad that had his hands up, and you're like, that guy got fucking raped. And Chappelle comes back out like, hey, we ain't canceled yet.
Well, and then also Chappelle like used his friends to like fill in the other skit stuff, and you start to see like Charlie Murphy in the background of shit, and then all of a sudden like he becomes like the main person. Same thing with Darnell Rollins, like he started off just like he's in the background of things, and then like he's doing Player Haters Ball and Ashy Larry, and then he becomes a star too. Both those guys went on to have huge stand-up careers, and they owe all that shit to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because like Charlie Murphy's Eddie Murphy's brother, and you don't hear about him until he's on Chapelle Show.
Yeah.
Like no one even knew Eddie Murphy had a brother.
Yeah,
until
exactly.
He's on Chapelle Show.
Yeah, and then he's like the funniest motherfucker ever, and he went on to do movies and everything else.
You really got to do yourself a favor and go watch season 2 of Charlie Murphy. That's the Hollywood True Stories on the Chapelle Show. Oh my
god, dude, those things are fucking priceless.
They might be the best part of Chapelle Show.
It really is, and I'm almost like I watched that thinking like, oh my god, like Chappelle really like let Charlie Murphy like take over the show for a minute. But Chappelle's in those skits, like that's part of the funniest part.
James.
Watching Chappelle as Charlie Murphy and as Prince is just fucking amazing,
I want to play Prince in basketball now. After that scene where he just like crosses everyone up in basketball and just fucking dominates them, and he's like dunking on him, and he's wearing his shit from the club. He's like wearing that like poofy outfit and shit.
Oh, that's so good,
dude. I wanted to play him in basketball.
And when I saw that, like I was like, no, it's Prince can't be that crazy. But then like now, like post-mortem, R.I.P. Prince.
Right.
I've heard so many fucking stories that Prince was just a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. He just serves him pancakes at the end. And you see like that look on Charlie Murphy's face, like he's got PTSD, and he's just like, he serves pancakes. Pancakes, man.
But how great must it have been to be Charlie Murphy in the 80s? God damn.
Just following your brother around, getting to hang out with all these badass celebrities, you know?
And just like fucking people up. Like he was like Eddie Murphy's fucking bouncer, dude.
Yeah. He's punching Rick James in the face and kicking it through windows and shit.
And Rick James is like, that didn't happen. Yeah, he might slap me around a little bit.
I remember that. That didn't happen.
Oh, shit. So fucking good.
My favorite line from that movie, and I think it really even sums up the way I was brought up, is when he's like, Rick James comes in and just rubs his muddy feet into Eddie Murphy's couch. So they go over there and they just whoop on Rick James until he leaves the house. And then Eddie Murphy's like, man, we need to get him some help. And Charlie Murphy's like, man, we just gave him some help.
All his legs are all fucked up like jelly.
Like, why?
Fuck you, Charlie Murphy.
They have the real Rick James off camera, and they're asking him, or off scene, and they're asking him questions. And they're like, well, why did you grind your boots in Eddie Murphy's couch? And he's like, because he could buy another one.
But Dave Chappelle though is coming out in these movies now, doing these small performances, and he's fucking great.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
He's great. Like, I don't know. It's just it impresses the shit out of me.
I think it's just kind of like his stand-up thing. He's just having fun with it, and when he gets really good at it, he'll probably just stop.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He doesn't need the money.
No.
You know, he's fine. He's set. He's got that fucking money.
He could easily start headlining movies now and be Kevin Hart. But he's taking small parts in dramas, you know, and just fucking knocking it out of the park and killing it. And it's so fucking cool to watch. But at the same time, I'm just like, you fucking wacky guy. Like, you're just gonna do it your way.
When is Kevin Hart and the Rock movies gonna satorate? Because I'm sick of them.
Dude. I don't know. Like, Kevin Hart's one of those dudes. Like, you talked about, the fucking comedian, Dane Cook. Yeah, so I feel like Kevin Hart is just like in every movie.
Very soon, people are gonna be sick of it. We're never gonna see Kevin Hart again.
No, yeah, he's like he's the top of the peak of the thing. He just sold out like Madison Square Garden, which Dane Cook did. Yeah, he's just Kevin Hart and everything. Yeah,
he's got one character that he plays in everything.
Yeah, and that was Dane Cook too. Like, he was in all these movies and he was just playing Dane Cook. He was like,
right.
And I think his shtick just got old to people. And that's what's crazy is like people turned on him so fast and they're like, fuck Dane Cook. Fuck you if you like Dane Cook.
That's what still surprised me is how everyone loved him. Yeah. Everyone fucking hated him.
Yeah.
And I actually meant to listen to, he was just on Joe Rogan's podcast recently. And I meant to listen to it just to see what he's saying about everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't quite understand that. Why did it didn't just go from like, oh, we love him to like, we're disinterested. Yeah. It went from like, we love him and we hate him and fuck you if you like him.
He was on a podcast I listened to, is Bobby Lee's podcast. Mm-hmm. It's called Tiger Belly. He was just on there and he was talking about it freely, like how like people fucking hated him and he was being an asshole. So he was like perpetrating what everybody hated about him, you know? And he was like, no, dude, I'm at the fucking top of my game. You can't fucking touch me because I'm fucking Dane Cook, you know? And then like, everybody hated him, and then like his fucking star fell hard. Yeah, and like he had to admit it to himself.
Allegations of like stealing jokes.
Yeah,
you know, I think that will kill a stand-up comic faster than anything. If fellow comics accuse you of stealing jokes.
Yeah, look at fucking Carlos Mencia, dude.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
If you go to YouTube and type in Carlos Mencia stealing jokes, or like Joe Rogan calls out Carlos Mencia, and see the side by sides. Yeah. That dude just went around and was stealing fucking lesser known comics jokes that's how he got a show. Right. And his show came after Chappelle Show and it fucking sucked. Right. And even Chappelle said like, I gotta watch other comedy, like Carlos Mencia tried to do my show, Key and Peele tried to do my show every night. He's like, fuck that shit.
Well, that was funny. He fucking hates Key and Peele. Right. Because literally like they filled his void that he left at Comedy Central.
It's two black guys doing a sketch comedy show. Yeah. But they're not that like, they feel very generic.
They did it safe, dude. Yeah, they weren't pushing the envelope like Chappelle was.
Yeah, they're definitely not the same. They have funny sketches.
Yeah, no.
But I don't sit down and watch episodes of Key and Peele and laugh my ass off. Like, right. I'll catch a sketch here and there, but I've sat and I've watched episodes of that before. Yeah. Where, like, the whole thing, I haven't, like, none of the sketches were that good.
It wasn't like gold like fucking Dave Chappelle.
And again, it just felt generic. It just felt like,
well, and even what fucking Peele is doing now with his, like, he did Us, which, like, everybody was like, oh my God, dude, like, he's thinking outside the box. He's talking about black relations and white people, and, like, he's talking about these crazy things. And it's like, no, you're still fucking hanging on Dave Chappelle was talking about forever ago. And then once he did that, then he just, like, now he's like, oh, now I'm the fucking horror guy. Yep. I was the comedy guy, and now I'm the horror guy. And then he did Us, which was the same fucking thing as Get Out. And then now he's doing Twilight Zone. He's just like perpetuating what the little boxes that people put him in. And he's doing exactly what would have happened to Chappelle if Chappelle would have kept going down that road. But he said, fuck it. And he rolled out. And for that, like, I have like the utmost respect for him.
Yeah. I mean, I love that saying. Like, people put that shit up all the time. You'll see, people put it up under like Tupac and, Kurt Cobain. It'll be like, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Right. And people are like, man, Kurt Cobain would be a fucking judge on American Idol if he was still alive today. You know, fucking Tupac would be like have some reality show where it's like, check out Tupac after he's not famous anymore. Yeah. Like, here's his house that he lives in. It's like they follow around Flavor Flav. They wouldn't follow around Tupac.
Look at Ice-T, dude. He exactly did that. Like, he's like fucking doing, fuck the police. And then,
Ice-T, I think Ice-T was just a businessman. He came out with one rap album and then immediately was like, clothing line. Right. Clothing line, buy my shit.
Right. But Ice Cube.
I'm on Law and Order, fuck you.
Ice Cube, too, is like fucking, I'm NWA, motherfucker.
Yeah, literally Ice Cube, NWA, fuck the police, to doing movies like, what was it called? Like Road Trip or like Car Trip.
Yeah. Are We There Yet?
Are We There Yet?
Yeah. 1 and 2.
Yep. Fuck that dude. And that's exactly what people are like, man, if Tupac hadn't been shot, if Biggie hadn't died, if fucking Kurt Cobain hadn't been murdered by what's-her-face.
Exactly. We know what's happening here.
They would fucking be doing this shit today. And it's like Chappelle, I think, saw that. And Chappelle's just, I'm out. I'm going out on my terms.
Yeah. And that, I respect that so much more than fucking...
Definitely.
Burning out slowly.
At the same time, you're like, man, I wish we had seasons 3, 4, and 5.
Absolutely.
I wish there was more to binge. And it's that terrible line as a consumer. You know, we demand more.
Exactly.
But then you do too much, we're like, fuck you.
Yep, exactly. You know, I have to commend Game of Thrones for getting out right when they are. Although we're about to talk about that. Shouldn't have brought that up yet. But I guess that's a good segue into a little segment we like to call Flush It or Flaunt It.
I love it.
I fucking hate movies.
I love it.
You flush it. I flaunt it.
So I'm going to start my flaunt it this week.
All right.
Is a show on Hulu that a friend turned me on to from a Canadian writing team. And I believe it's filmed in Canada as well. And it's called Letterkenny. It's on Hulu. It's all one word. And it's just, it's hard to describe because it's kind of just about a group of friends hanging out, not doing much.
Right.
There's not a whole lot going on. There's things that are happening throughout the season, but there's not a lot of it's mostly people sitting around talking. Right. But their dialogue is so witty and quick that I've never seen another show quite have the banter that they do, where they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and they just make it seem like it's so natural. And it just comes there. And it's like everyone in the town, everyone on the show talks like this. You know, everyone on the show can give it and receive it and just fire it right back. And it's great. So,
Go time!
Go time!
Look at that fucking treasure trail.
What's up with your fucking body hair, Big Shoots? You look like a 12-year-old Dutch girl. Your aesthetician coiffed that for you?
You can kiss my aesthetician. You guys do CrossFit?
You can cross fuck off.
Cross fart. How many times you pulled your horn today, bud?
What?
Oh, she's bashful.
Well, come on, kitten. I won't tell anyone. Ballpark 6 to 8, you're a fucking animal.
Play a little 5-on-1.
Hit the kitchen, mix a batch.
Feed the ducks.
Distribute some free literature.
Go time!
Fucking shut 'em!
Riley, Jonesy, put your fucking shirts on and get out of here.
This isn't over!
Jenks, you owe me a Coke.
Never buy you a Coke.
do yourself a favor. Go watch the first 5 minutes of episode 1 of Letterkenny, and you'll get pulled right. You'll see what the show's about, and you'll get pulled right into it. And if you like comedy, it's a great comedy. I'm balls deep into season 2 already.
And that was on Hulu?
Hulu.
All right, awesome.
My flush it this week
here we go.
Season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Oh, man, you were going to make a lot of people mad. I thought I made
really.
people mad with my Into the Spider-Verse thing.
No, I think there's a lot of people that agree with me. From people I've been talking to and posts I've seen on Reddit where they just, it's like, I totally fucking agree with them. And there's a lot of people, I think, that are behind me on this. Ever since the books, and I don't really blame these two guys. DB, whatever fucking David, whatever the fuck his name is, I call him D&D.
Uh-huh.
They were supposed to finish out a series or write a series for TV that had books behind it.
Right.
No one thought when the show started that they were going to catch up to the books.
Yeah, they've got a very tall order to fill.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to make up something that people have loved based on something.
They have breadcrumbs from Gurm. They have these little... He's like, well, I was going to do this and this, but he really doesn't know.
Right. This is what we were talking about with Robert Parker, where he died, and people are making stuff with his characters, and it's people that know him very well, but it's just, there's something not right about it.
So, but this season, every season since the books, season 6 was okay. I think Gurm had a lot of ideas for more ideas for season 6, but 7 and 8 have definitely felt off. And 8, I'm pissed. Because the book series is called A Song of Ice and Fire.
Right.
It is literally all about humanity versus the White Walkers. It gets set up in the prologue. It is the very first thing you see. It's the first thing you see in the show, by the way. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah. By the way, spoiler alert, we're probably going to spoil some stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. Okay, so if you haven't seen the last couple episodes of season 8, skip ahead to my Flush It or Flaunt It. I won't be talking about Game of Thrones.
So I was pretty pissed off so that the entire book... The entire series is set up, and Jon Snow is telling everyone this whole time, we don't have time, we have to fight the army of the dead, it's all about humanity versus the Night King.
Right.
And that gets wrapped up halfway through this fucking season.
Like in one episode, the whole thing. In one
episode, everything is just done. I don't mind that it was Arya who did it.
It was a great episode.
Some people want to bitch about that part of it.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just the fact that the Night King is dead, the army of the dead is gone, and now the main enemy is just
Cersei. Yeah. I thought that was going to play out longer too.
It was so...
But I'm just like, all right, whatever you guys want to tell me.
If you're looking at it from their point of view, it's like, well, first of all, no one's going to believe you about the army of the dead. Because they're all gone now. So no one's going to believe a whole bunch of Northmen that was like, we just fought this huge army of the dead and killed it. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, whatever, probably not.
Right.
They don't ever believe anything that happens up there unless they see it for themselves. Number two is, even if Cersei wins, which no one wants Cersei to win at this point, I wanted the Night King to win. Okay?
When you said that, I got excited about that. Yeah,
I don't want Cersei to win.
Right.
Nobody likes Cersei.
No.
Even if she wins, though, humanity still survives. Right. There is no threat now. You like the Night King. You, as the writers, you wrote yourself into a corner and you removed, like, literally the biggest piece of tension from the show earlier.
Right. It's like killing Darth Maul off in Phantom Menace.
Weird. And then you just have characters like, I used to get mad at the characters for like things that were happening or like maybe things they did, but they were within character. And now I'm getting mad at the show because it's like, spoilers again, she gets one of her dragons killed because they couldn't see ships.
Right.
And the ships managed to like shoot the dragons with a ballista while the ships are rocking back and forth on waves and the dragons flying and they hit them 3 times.
They're really good with those.
I mean, it just doesn't sit well with me. And it's lazy fucking writing and it's bad writing, and I feel like these two guys are just trying to get, they're just like, this is season 8, final season, fucking we're wrapping it up and we don't give a shit anymore.
Right. And I'm not even mad at Game of Thrones like you are, but I did have that question in that episode where they have those huge fucking guns, which they set it up that like they had one and it was a big deal. I thought that was like the Dragon Killer gun, and now they have like infinite amounts of those guns. But also, she's charging them, and she like made it pretty close to them,
and then backs off.
Couldn't she? Yeah. Why did she back off? Couldn't she just go around them, and then she would have been on the other side of the guns?
You could come straight down at them.
Yeah.
You could engage them with your fleet, and then engage them with your dragon.
Right.
Not to like, I won't even get into the tactics of the Battle of Winterfell and how bad that was.
Yeah.
That lose the entire Dothraki in the opening throw, and literally like that was the plan. That was dumb.
That was a bad plan.
And then,
but what was weird about that too is that all the Dothraki go out there and get fucking slaughtered, but like Daenerys' buddy, who was like her protector, he was in the front lines of that, and he came back on his horse, and the dog just lost an ear.
Yeah,
that was it.
Which you like never see the direwolf anymore. Ghost is just like barely in the show anymore.
Well, the way they showed the dead,
all their lights are going out,
was just like a pile of fucking knives and swords just rolling in like a wave. No one survived that was on the front lines of that.
Another thing a lot of people are mad about is how many main characters survive, and they call it plot armor. I'm seeing that term a lot, where it's like, how the fuck did Sam survive?
Dude, every time you saw Sam
in the middle of the field, Dany gets thrown off her dragon and has no weapons.
Yeah, she didn't even mess up her hair.
No. Jon has an entire new army of the dead raised around him. He survives.
Yeah, he's right in the middle of it, and he just.
Jaime has one hand. He survives.
Yeah, what the hell?
And then in the very next episode, the Grey Worm, the Unsullied commander, goes, "Yeah, I have half my troops left."
Right.
And we're like, "What?"
I saw him on the ground.
Yeah.
Being trampled and like looking out at the army and being like, "We're destroyed," and then the next episode he's just got a cut above his eye.
Yeah.
What happened?
These are the things that make people upset, and they're not following their own rules. In season 1, it's established it takes months to get from King's Landing to Winterfell if you travel on foot.
Right.
And now it's like 5 minutes later, they're just going back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean,
man,
these are the things I could go on and on and on. But that is my flush it. This season of Game of Thrones. I'm pretty upset that I've been waiting. I started reading these books in 2004.
Right.
So I've been waiting for a conclusion for a very long time.
Right.
And this is what I get. And I'm never going to get the books. I get that. Gurm's is like, fuck it, man. I don't give a shit. Maybe we get book 6. There's no chance we're getting 7. There's no chance we're getting 8. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
What if, though, this what if he's like,
This
what if he gets as mad as you are right now? And he's like, all right, fuck this shit. I got to fix this and I'm going to fucking turn it around. The books are going to be completely different than that bullshit that happened in the show.
He gets as mad as I am right now. He's just going to go to his big room full of HBO money and roll around in cash like Scrooge McDuck and just go, I'm not mad anymore. He's got 3 spin-offs coming off 3 Game of Thrones spin-offs coming out on HBO.
Well, that's what makes me mad is that, like because that's happening, they're not going to kill characters because they want them to be in the spin-offs.
I mean, I know at least some of them are, like, in the past. So I don't know if they're all going to be with the same characters.
Right.
If we get an Arya and the Hound spin-off, that'd be great. If we get a Tormund and Ghost spin-off running around in the north, that'd be great.
I was kind of upset, even though like it was awesome that moment when Arya, spoiler alert, kills the Night King.
Yeah.
But he just got poked and he just fell into pieces, and then his whole army died. I hate when you kill the head and then like this then the body dies.
You have to totally wonder, like, so how smart's the Night King? You know, if he's the linchpin for this entire army, why would you be down on the field? Why wouldn't you wait till everyone's fucking dead?
And if you have this Achilles heel that, like, you can get stabbed in the breadbasket and you're dead, and then your whole army's going to die too, wouldn't you have armor over that?
Wouldn't you never come down from your dragon?
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, get everyone down there. Make sure everyone's fucking smoked. Leave me that dude in the wheelchair. Trust me, he's not going anywhere.
Well, and I still don't get why the fuck does he care? Give one shit about Bran.
Here is another fucking thing that has made me upset is that the three-eyed raven gets set up as something more. I feel like in the book, there's something more expected of him. He could do more than just see into the future, see into the past. There was something more that was supposed to happen between the three-eyed raven and the Night King. And in the show,
right. It's not going to happen.
Bran just creepily stares at people.
Right. Yeah, Bran. Yeah. Well, you know what? You turned me around. I fucking hate Game of Thrones now. Fuck that show.
You're welcome. Wait till you watch Last Jedi with me.
All right. So let's go with my flaunt it this week. I just went to the cinema, which I don't get to do very often because I have 2 rotten children that keep me from seeing anything that's not computer animated and stupid. I went and saw The Long Shot with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen, and goddamn is that movie a delight, because first off, there hasn't been like a good like romantic comedy in a long time. They just aren't making those anymore because they're making Marvel movies. Why would you make a romantic comedy that might not make $1 billion?
And I mean, in my romantic comedies just get old. You're like, I get it.
And
they're gonna fall in love. Then they're gonna get mad at each other. Then they're gonna get back together in the end. I fucking get it.
Yeah, it's very mapped out, and this one's not any different.
I kind of liked that movie I saw way back when with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn called The Breakup.
Yeah,
because they just don't get back together.
And people fucking hated that movie because they don't get back together at the end, you know. But yeah, it was more realistic and it was good. This one is exactly that, but it is like the reversal, where Charlize Theron is playing the man character and Seth Rogen is the woman character.
Okay.
And so
it's like my marriage.
Yeah. So that was a delight to watch. It's also hard R. So they're saying fuck all the time. And the movie starts off with like a white supremacist, like yelling fucking crazy shit. And, I was just, like, that part was a delight. And then, but it was like a little bit smarter than your stereotypical Seth Rogen stuff.
Okay.
And I was kind of like, so like there's all the Seth Rogen jokes in there, and there's even like the physical comedy of him like being fat and falling down. But I was like, this is a little bit smarter. And then at the end I realized he didn't write it. So I bet he did like a bone up on the script and like added stuff, did a lot of ad-libbing for his character. But it seemed a little bit more adult than what he's normally doing,
right.
You know, and it was a lot about like politics because, you know, Charlize Theron is trying to become the first woman president. And it is silly because a woman that is as gorgeous as Charlize Theron would never date a fucking slug like,
right.
like Seth Rogen. You know, I don't care how fucking funny he is. Like that chick is not going to fall for that dude.
That's like literally the entire premise of Knocked Up.
Exactly.
Like, I got her pregnant.
Yeah.
Score one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's the only way that you get a chick like that is if you like fuck her while she's like vulnerable and then get her pregnant so she can't dump you.
Be a bad decision.
Right.
But then don't wear a condom.
Exactly. And that's how I got my wife.
Yep.
I think that's pretty much how you got your wife.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that is a good move. But so that movie is a fucking delight. Definitely go check that out. I'm happy it's doing really well at the box office because they smartly released with fucking Endgame, so that the people that are like, fuck Endgame, or have already seen Endgame in the first weekend, and now have nothing else to watch for the next 6 months,
right?
Will look for something to check out. So that's a good one to go with.
That is going to be in theaters for a while.
And it also made my wife horny.
Ooh.
And so any guy that's out there that like needs to make his wife horny, take her to go see this movie. You're gonna get laid afterwards. Almost like 85% chance you're going to get laid. Especially
60% of the time works every time.
Yeah. So, especially if you're kind of chubby and you kind of laugh silly. And people say that they remind you of Seth Rogen. That's me. And
really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. You've known me longer though. You knew Skinny Jason.
I did.
And I think when you look at me,
we used to work out together.
Yeah, I think you still remember Skinny Jason.
I have hope that you can get back there.
You know I'm under here somewhere.
You're crying out for help.
Yeah, but right now I'm in the Seth Rogen body. But you know what? My wife likes this extra girth.
No, she doesn't.
I hate you, Brian. You always know how to...
I'm going to be real honest with you.
You got to the heart of me. So, okay, and my flush it this week is I quit watching Gotham about season 3 when Riddler and Penguin were gay for each other.
Oh.
Not because there's anything wrong with being gay. It's because you don't take my characters that I know and love and then change them that dramatically. Right. It really upsets me. So the Penguin doesn't want to fuck the Riddler. That's weird.
He only wants to fuck other penguins.
If he wanted to fuck a penguin, I'd be like, that's more in character than him wanting to fuck the Riddler.
I could see Danny DeVito's penguin fucking a penguin.
I could totally see him fucking that penguin.
I need a fish.
Yeah. He's like, you gotta wear a mask. I fuck penguins. But, yeah. So then I heard that, I started seeing previews where, that dude that looks just like you fucking became Bane.
Oh.
And I was like, or Brian is Bane, so that's fucking cool. And then like the Riddler had his fucking green suit with like the fucking question marks on it and shit. And like the Penguin got fat, and I was like, oh, fucking cool. And then I saw like the boots and the cape, and I was like, oh, this fucking dude is gonna turn into Batman in the last episode, much like they did with Smallville, where he finally put on the fucking Superman suit at the fucking last episode. So I was like, all right.
Took him 19 seasons to learn how to fly.
Yeah. So I watched the first 2 episodes of the season, the last season, and it fucking blew. It sucked ass. I was like, I'm not watching this anymore. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna come back. I'll watch the last 2 episodes. Those 2 episodes fucking blew. It showed the kid in the batsuit, and it was like the Christian Bale batsuit, which is the one I fucking hate the worst. And then his face just looks so fucking stupid in that Batman costume. Like, he's a kid. And then his face never looked like a Batman face.
So
and
that's
then
your flush it?
My flush it is fucking Gotham. The finale of Gotham. Fuck that show in the beginning. Fuck that show in the middle. Fuck that show in its end.
Sounds good.
Flush it. Now we're on to our next segment. Fuck, marry, kill. Fight! Oh.
Tell me who you'd fuck, marry, and kill. This game is the definition of thrill. You have to pick, you have to choose. If you don't, you will lose. Tell me who you'd fuck, marry, and kill. Who you'd fuck, marry, and kill.
All right, are you ready for your choices, Brian?
I'm ready.
All right. Rick James.
Oh, shit.
Prince. Charlie Murphy.
God damn it.
What's the crackhead's name?
Tyrone Biggums.
Tyrone Biggums. Those are your choices.
I'm gonna fuck Prince.
Of course. Who wouldn't fuck Prince?
Who didn't see that coming? And I'm gonna learn a thing or two.
Oh yeah,
he will get wild.
He will teach you a move that you can then use on a lady.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not gay.
It's not gay.
It's not gay if you learn something.
No. If you fuck a man that is pretty as Prince, you didn't really fuck a man.
He's a symbol.
He's a symbol. He's not male or female.
So I'm gonna fuck Prince.
I wouldn't be surprised if the end of Prince's dick didn't have a vagina on it. I
Probably
fucking blew your mind, didn't I?
I think that's exactly how it was, probably. I think you just described his penis perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna marry Charlie Murphy. Because we would have a lot of fun together.
I think so too.
I can tell. Like, we would just have a good time together.
Yeah. That guy knows how to party.
He knows how to fucking party.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be a gentle lover.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that after watching him when he's the prison guy that comes out in the mad real world.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill Rick James.
I'm Rick James, bitch!
Just because, you know, why wouldn't I?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Because I'm gonna fight Tyrone Biggums because fighting crackheads is fucking fun.
Yeah, dude.
You fight someone who can't feel pain, you're in for a good time.
Yeah, you'd fucking shank him in his fucking side. You'd be like, I don't know if you know this, Bryan Gunn, but that is not the first time I've been penetrated by a blade.
Yeah.
I smoke rocks.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, you'd kick him in the nuts. I don't know if you know this, Bryan Gunn.
I sold my nuts for rocks.
Those are good choices. Those are.
Yeah, out of the 4 men you gave me there,
I do feel like
3 of them played by Dave Chappelle.
I do feel like I should give you some more female options and see where you go with those. But
although there's not a lot of them to pick from in Chapelle Show.
Chappelle. It was just bitches and hoes in that show. So
his wife's in there sometimes, which I find hilarious.
So there's really nothing that I could give you on the female spectrum on that one. But maybe next time.
It's all right.
I know you. What I love is that it doesn't matter if it's male or female with you. You really think about your answers. And that's why I love playing this game with you.
Yeah. You gotta think it through. I'm getting married here.
That's true.
It's a lifelong choice.
Yeah, it is a huge commitment. So I appreciate that you take it seriously. So that's this episode. I think we killed it.
Yeah, as always.
As always, we fucking killed it. It's in the grave. Put the nail in the coffin. Let's see. What do we got to talk about? We've got some exciting things coming up. We are just 1 week away from the Phoenix Fan Fusion, where we will be doing a live performance. We are going to be presenting The Princess Bride. Friday, May 24th, we're going to be doing The Princess Bride. Live at Phoenix Fan Fusion. And we're going to be talking about the love of that movie.
Yeah. Come on down, see us do a live podcast, meet us, see what we're all about. We'd love to hang out with you, love to answer questions.
Exactly. I will fucking shake your hand. I will fucking hug your wife. I will get an erection when I hug your wife. I will sign titties, male or female.
True.
And, Brian will suck your dick for $25.
25 Yeah.
$25?
Fuck yeah, I will for $25.
Yeah, $25. That's
holy shit.
Yeah. What are you going to charge for an autograph?
Oh. Well, that's at least $75. I do have my dignity.
I feel like your priorities are screwed up there, but yeah. And then Saturday night, the 25th of May, we're going to be doing Fright Night. Both of these podcasts are in honor of Chris Sarandon being at Comic-Con, and who knows? Maybe we'll be able to stalk him enough to the point where he gives us an interview. What do you think?
Fun. I think we're going to pull that off.
I think that if anybody could choke out an actor, it would be Bryan Gunn. And then he will answer every fucking question that I have for him, because Bryan Gunn was in Afghanistan. And he knows how to make people tell you things that they don't want to tell you.
It's very simple. People are attached to their body parts.
Exactly. Like their fingernails.
Yeah. They want to keep them.
They want to keep those. And so when you ask a question and then, you tell them about your body removal or your part removal, sometimes I bet you don't even have to really do it. You don't even have to actually cause the harm.
And sometimes they just chicken out and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, they just fucking tell you. So I bet that he will give us some tidbits about The Princess Bride when you start asking him questions the way only you can.
That's right.
Yeah. We will also have our disgusting trash person, Alicia, on board for that one. She's
Excellent.
flying in to do the Comic-Con. And then the beautiful Vivian Vengeance, our sexy burlesque dancing friend, is going to be there.
Cool.
To talk about it. So, yeah, so it's going to be a fun time. Come out and check us out on that for sure. And then, of course, you can always see us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Brian, you want to tell us about your very exciting thing that just finally happened?
Yes. Only a month late, my first published short story just came out in a compilation called Time to Myself. It's on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle or paperback. All the proceeds go to charity, but check it out.
It's only 99 cents.
It is 99 cents on Kindle.
For fucking Christ,
so
people.
If you have $1 burning a hole in your pocket, please go check out my first short story. It's called Brothers in a Bar by Bryan Gunn, and it's in the Time to Myself compilation on Amazon.
That is so fucking exciting. Like, when you publish something, it made it feel like I published something.
I got the paperback version, and just seeing my name in there for the first time was pretty surreal.
That is so fucking exciting. And I have not spent the 99 cents, but I will.
I gotta say, in the same week, I won Rookie Teacher of the Year.
Goddamn.
For the entire district, over 40 schools. And that very same week, the book came out. So,
that's great stuff, dude.
Yeah,
how do you fucking beat that week?
I was floating on clouds for sure.
Yeah, that's fucking amazing. And congratulations, sir. You're a big deal.
Thank you.
And I fucking only surround myself with people that are at least as big of a deal as I am.
Excellent.
So I appreciate you just being a big deal.
Just being me.
Appreciate you coming to my house to talk poop, to make poop.
I do make poop here.
You do make poop here, and I actually was going to talk to you about that last time you left. You left some of that poop kind of floating in there.
I'm sorry. I called for the knife. You guys didn't bring me the knife to chop it.
I understand what a double flusher is. It's okay to do in my house. Like, I'll pay the water bill to not have to come in and see your chunks. So,
It was stuck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Unstick it. Make sure that second flush happens. All right, everybody. That's Talking Poop for this week. Make sure you check us out and keep listening. Tell a friend. Tell your grandma that this is the best fucking podcast you've ever heard. Later.